Hello, hello, Angie Grimes, your spiritual architect, and I'm here to talk with you about the human design. If you are not aware or you're new to my channel, human design is the blueprint of your human existence, aligned with your divine self to know the truth of you. And I'm actually here to give you the Elevate Your Alignment energy report for the week of September 16th, 2018. And before we get into this, I wanted to share with you one of my philosophies about energy and how it works and how all of these gates interact with you individually. So I don't necessarily believe, I was doing a reading the other day or a session with a client, and she was like, well, is this good or is this bad? And I thought, I don't really work from the method if this is good or bad necessarily. I don't really look at individuals in that light and that nature. We all have the capability to have a higher expression of energy or a lower expression of energy. And so as we're looking at these energy reports, I'm going to start giving you kind of what the outline would be for the higher expression and the lower expression of these energies and as they can be expressed. So it can maybe give you an idea that our goals are to encompass equilibrium and find balance and learn to embrace all of those aspects of ourselves. Good and bad is a lens that we each look to view in our own life, and so it's very, very difficult to say that something is good or bad and have that be just the truth of the matter. So I'd like to just kind of share with you a little bit about how that energy works. This week can be a very volatile week. We're moving into the gate of conflict resolution. So this energy has a particularly emotional aspect, and it's about balancing the high emotion on one hand and getting some clear resolution in the other. So it's time to get to accept that for some creative processes and alliances to grow, there must be a certain amount of friction. And at other times, you need to be the peacemaker. So many things in life are emotionally driven and not rational. You can bring clarity to these situations. However, you require clarity over time because it's an emotional gate. It's best to wait and to make sure that it produces a higher feeling for yourself. There's a defensive attribute to this energy that benefits the greater good of the whole. You may perhaps fight for love and resources, but be cautious of what you're doing with this, because as you don't have clarity, this energy can be really destructive. So physically, conflict resolution regulates the pH of our blood, and it represents that fine balance between alkaline and acidity, and that counts for so much of our well-being. In the same way that an overbalance of an acidic body tissue can become an environment for illness, so do social imbalances that result in upheaval, corruption, and so at its worst, it can be profoundly intertied with sex and war. And I know that this is a profound and perhaps a little bit of a disturbing truth for many individuals. Conflict resolution fosters an internal balance and an emotional awareness, and it has the responsibility to bring an equilibrium to life. Now, we have been talking about the ways that this can be expressed, and what that means is that it can be expressed in a couple of ways. you can be the type of person that maintains peace at all costs. What happens in this situation, though, is that you're doing that based on fear, and that typically results in a spectacularly dysfunctional relationship and family dynamics in your life. There's also another way that this can be expressed, and it's where you're unable to maintain your emotions. So you find yourselves in a difficult emotional situation, and you make it worse because you give way to your anger, and typically you end up projecting that on others. So until we can move through the emotional revolution as an individual and do that at an individual level and find peace in our relationships, conflict can never be transcended. So it takes us to deal with this emotional situation on an individual level. If you're working from defense, that maintains the illusion that we're all separate, while peace is the reality that is experienced once all of those boundaries have been dissolved. Only when peace is recognized on earth as the natural state of our collective consciousness, the future of humanity can be built. Thank you so much for sticking around for the whole report. I hope that you find value. Try to stay emotionally centered this week. It may not even be your own emotions. There may be others that are having issues dealing with their emotions, so it could potentially be a volatile week in that way. However, if you can stay centered and grounded, you're going to find the path to move forward with an internalized peace. Thank you so much. Have a great day.